Hello and welcome to WellFit Chicago, brought to you by Momentum Fitness and Health. Let us help you find yours. My name is Venckus. I am the founder of Momentum. Right here, just outside of Chicago on a beautiful, beautiful 70-degree day on March 24th. Our first 70-degree day since February. Horrible, right? Well, you have questions about fitness, health, wellness, and nutrition, and we have the answers. So every week we try to bring you some new information. And just a few weeks ago we did meal prep. Some of the different things about meal prep and the things that you can actually have prepped so that your week goes a lot easier as far as cooking your meals, because we know it takes a lot of time. So one of the big scary things to meal prep is not really knowing the best ways to chop or cut your vegetables. Either it's inefficient or it's not safe, which, you know, both of them can be a detriment to you in the kitchen. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to go over some knife skills. Now, if you're watching live online right now, you're not going to get as good, but watch for our YouTube video. On the YouTube video, you're going to see some close-in shots and whatnot. But you know, make the best of what you will here. We are down in the actual studio part today, not upstairs in my office with all the equipment and stuff behind me. So let's get right to it. So the first thing that we want to talk about is knife anatomy. So the anatomy of knives. So you understand what I'm talking about when I bring things up. So some of it seems pretty basic. You've got the tip of the knife, which is here. You've got the back of the knife here. The cutting edge all along here. That's where you decide you don't want to touch or get your fingers underneath. The heel of the knife, and then you've actually got the bolster of the knife back here. It's usually a bit heavier and it's ridged, so you can kind of grab onto the back of it. Often there are rivets. This one does not have a rivet because the tang runs all the way through and is held in. So the rivets on this one are internal. And then of course you've got the butt of the knife, which is the heavy end, which helps balance it out. So those are the different aspects of your knife. So today I'm going to teach you how to use this knife effectively and safely. What makes me such an expert? Well, I used to cut my fingers all the time, but until I worked in a restaurant, just after college, the owner came to me and said, look, I'm going to have to let you go because you're a liability unless you learn to cut. So let me show you. And he gave me the skills and the tips that I needed. The other thing that he showed me is how to keep your cutting board from sliding. Now, I've got a tablecloth out here, so you know it's not going to slide around. But if you don't have a tablecloth, if you have, you know, if you're cutting on your counters, which most people are, most people aren't cutting on a cloth surface, you need to put something underneath the cutting board in order to keep it from moving around, because then it's a safety issue. If it moves around, your fingers can move underneath it and slice you. So what I've always done is, I had one, I always take either a paper towel, a wet paper towel, or a wet cloth and place it underneath. So I've got Kleenex, we'll use that. So imagine if you will that this is a rag or a towel. You wet it, you put it underneath, and it keeps your cutting board from sliding around. So that's good for when you're working on a hard surface, which most people usually are, as opposed to a cloth surface. So let's get to tips on how to cut. We're going to do some slicing, some dicing, and then I'm going to give you a little extra tip on how to cut open an avocado safely and effectively as well. So we're going to start with how you should hold the knife. Now, when you have the knife in your hand, you want to grip it well, put your whole hand on it, and you want to actually put your fingers up near the top, near the back of the knife, just in front of that bolster, that thick, heavy thing that runs through. So when you're cutting, you're actually rocking the knife. So you see how I'm actually rocking the knife, and I'm actually rocking it away from me. It's always important to put the pointy end away from you. Just like when you're handing somebody scissors, you always hand them the handle. Well, it's the same thing with a knife. You always want to cut away. Anytime you're cutting anything, you want to cut away. If you're cutting a box with a razor knife, they always say cut away. Straps or bands, cut away. Going back to my warehouse days. All right, so again, let's go over how you hold the knife. You want your whole hand on the knife. You don't want it, you don't want it back here and just flail away at what's on the table here. You want to, with control, grab the back, and that will give you more control as you cut away, and it makes it easier to rock the knife. All right, so what are we going to do today? We're going to slice some carrots, a potato. We're also going to slice a pepper, and then we're going to dice that pepper. I'm going to show you a real quick way to dice this onion so you don't have to take a bunch of time out. Of course, the avocado, and then I'll get to why I have this gross bag full of scraps in a little bit. Give you another prep tip. Save you a little bit of money, save you a little bit of time. All right, and of course we have all of our containers. You never have enough containers, right, for meal prep one. All right, so let's get into the cutting part. All right, let's start with the carrot. Now, the one thing that you really want to keep in mind is you want to keep your fingers back. There's nothing worse than having your fingers like this, slide them under, and then cutting your fingers, right? So you want to actually do a little thing, I call it the chop fu grip, where you actually bring your knuckles back so you create a nice flat edge, okay? And that's where you want to start. Then you keep that thumb back. It's almost like the sign language for E. Very, very similar. And when you cut, you're able to use your knuckles as a guide. And as long as you keep the flat part of your knuckles, especially that front one, that middle finger in front, and never lift the edge of the knife, the tip of the knife off the cutting board, you're going to see great results, and you're going to be able to cut efficiently, fast, and safe. All right, so I lost my carrot on the floor there, so we are going to do another carrot. So, see, watch how I hold this carrot. So I'm bringing all my fingers back. We'll do a close-up here on the YouTube video. I'm bringing all my fingers back, and when it's down on the, all my fingers are back, they're curled under, there's nothing out like this to get chopped, right? So, very quickly, you always want to be paying attention to what you're doing. And then you can just inch your carrot up a little at a time. And again, you're just using that rocking motion. And here I am, quickly, efficiently slicing carrots. Okay? So, pretty easy, pretty simple. Keep those safety tips in mind. There I have an entire chopped carrot in just a few minutes. Now, compare that to some of the slower methods. Let's get that carrot that I dropped, where you're just kind of stabbing at it. You know, you're not able to be very, very consistent with how big your slices are. And then when you get towards the end, what are you going to do when you get towards the end? Right? Your finger's going to be out here, and you're in danger of having your fingers out and getting your fingers chopped, as opposed to having them back like this. And occasionally, with carrots, some of them go away. All right, so I'm going to save the butts of my carrots, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with those later. So we got 2 chopped up carrots now. All right, how about pepper? Pepper's a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit more interesting. There's more, you have to actually open up the pepper. And the best way to open up the pepper is to very carefully place it down here. Find a little groove. You've got like your 4 chambers on the bottom here, your 4 sections. Find one of those grooves and cut almost all the way through it. And then what you can do is just split it right open. You can take the guts out real easy, just like that. And you've got 2 half peppers. We're going to slice one, and then later we're going to dice one. Now with a pepper, you always want to cut on the side that has more grip. So that's the inside. The skin is going to be a bit more slick, a bit more slippery. So what you want to do is you want to, again, curl your fingers inside. So make sure your fingers are curled inside. And again, gently rocking that knife, never lifting the tip off. Move that off the side, never lifting the tip off. And slicing your pepper. Now pepper, sometimes you do get that extra bit on top. If you're worried about that you're lifting your knife too high, just chop that off and cut it later. So you can cut that top off and still remain safe, keeping your fingers back in the blade of the knife on the surface. Alright, so we're going to put those off to the side. We're actually going to put this off to the side too, because later we're going to dice that. So what about something like a potato? How do you slice a potato? It tends to roll around just kind of like the carrot did. So one thing that you can do is you can stand it up, shave a little bit of it off, create a nice flat edge. Now your potato doesn't roll anymore. So again, to slice that potato, keep your fingers back, that chop fu grip. And you keep in control, again, not at all removing the tip of the blade, and cranking out potatoes nice and thin, nice and safe, nice and fast. So then maybe with these, you can make some nice, scalloped potatoes or some breakfast potatoes. So again, real easy. Keeping that finger back. Remember, that's the important part. Keeping that finger back. And then we've got potatoes. I'm not sure I have a container big enough for them. All right, so pretty easy, right? So we'll put our potatoes off to the center. Now, if you're not going to use your potatoes right away, it's good to immerse them in water. Otherwise, they will brown very quickly. So I'll immerse those in water before I leave here today, so they don't brown up on me. But then you get to that little part, that little end part, and it's like, well, what do I do with this? It's so hard to cut. Well, we already made our flat edge on the bottom, so it stays down, fingers back, and cut through the whole thing. So we're not wasting the back ends of anything. We're using that whole potato, no waste, right? Perfect. All right, so that's a pretty simple way to slice things. Let's move on to dicing. So a lot of times with dicing, I see people doing like this. Just chopping away, putting their fingers in danger, not really getting all the way through the pepper or whatever it is they're cutting, just wild and crazy, right? That is a great way to hurt yourself and also get inconsistent sizes and pieces. So if you're looking all right, are we back? Are we live? All right, so we had some technical difficulties with the camera. You may notice some differences. You may notice that there's not as much natural light coming into the windows because it is a different day. I didn't wear the same clothes, but you'll notice the table's different. So where did we leave off? I think we left off with me flailing away with a knife, showing you how a lot of people tend to dice, and it's a fairly dangerous way. So we're going to go back. I'm going to show you how to use that chop fu grip down here. So you're going to curl those fingers back in order to dice this. I already got this sliced. And what you're going to do is use those fingers as a guide to push everything forward. And again, not lifting the tip of the knife off of your board. So when you're doing that, much less likely to cut your fingers, and then you get much more uniform, much quicker dices on your peppers and whatever else you are dicing. Now, I have a little bit different technique for onions, and I'm going to show you what that technique is like. So let's see. I got potatoes. I have onions, peppers. It looks like I got me some. I'm already prepped for my breakfast potatoes tomorrow. All right, so I'm going to show you then the easiest, quickest way to dice an onion without having to take a bunch of time and being all sloppy about it. So again, down here, we're just going to cut off the ends. Cut off each end. You don't want both sides of it. And then what you can do here is you can peel off these skins, or you can keep them either way. If you need a natural dye, you need to dye something yellow, you can actually keep your onion skins in order to dye things. It works really well. So we're going to peel away our skins. I'm not going to keep our skins. So we got the ends cut off. We're then going to make an incision about the halfway point. Again, keeping that knife pointed away, just a little bit of an incision. Pull that back. Pull off the first layer, if you can actually get underneath and just get that skin, you can pull all this back. Now you're going to notice too, I put those tops in this bag. This bag has got the ends of peppers and carrots and celery. So, and then that goes in my freezer, and when it gets full, I make my own vegetable broth. So there's a little extra tip for you in order to save a little bit of money, using that instead of having to use the commercially processed stuff. So we've got our onion peels. Again, you can save them for dye, but I'm going to toss these out today. So you're going to finish that cut where you started halfway through, and you're going to cut it all the way. Now the next thing we're going to do here, instead of just going like this and all over the place, what we're going to do is we're going to make cuts, about maybe a 1/4 inch thick, and we're going to keep it about 1/2 inch from the very, very, very back. So what we're going to do is we're going to make like those flyers that you see, those paper flyers that have take a number, and they're kind of flapping in the breeze, but they're still attached to the main part of the paper. That's what we're going to do with our onion to start. So again, you are going to have to lift the knife off for this one, and you are going to have to be careful. But again, keep your fingers back. Keep them curled under. Keep them nice and safe. And now we've got basically fingers created on our onion, and then we can go back to that chop tool grip where you can push everything forward, keeping your fingers safe, keeping the knife flat on the surface. And now we have like an instant diced onion. So it's a lot faster, it's a lot easier, and it's a lot safer. So I'm going to take that onion and I'm going to put it in with my green peppers, because those are going to go in my sliced breakfast potatoes tomorrow for me and my daughter. And my wife, if I get up early enough before she goes to work. All right. So those are some of your simple ways to slice and dice quickly, safely, and then something that you can do with your odds and ends. Try not to waste anything if you can avoid it. So one more thing. I want to show you the best way, the safest way, easiest way to open up an avocado. So as you know, avocados have a nice big pit on the inside. So you want to use that pit to your advantage. So you want to hold the avocado flat in your hand and cut down until, on an angle, keeping the heel away from your hand until you hit that pit. And then grab the bottom and slowly just rock that knife all the way around the pit until you find where you started from. Now, very easily, twist and it comes apart. It stays in. Now, if you're not going to use the whole avocado, like I'm not going to today, I'm going to use half of it. What you'll do is you'll take this part of the avocado and you can place it, leave the pit inside it. It's going to keep it from browning. And then place that in a nice airtight container, and it should keep it from browning too quickly. Not saying that it won't over a couple of days, because you know anything about avocados, they go from being unripe to being completely black in like 2 days. So, now how do I get all this out of here quickly? You could, scoop it all out sloppily with a spoon, or the way that I like to do it is if you want to do slices, very carefully, you do have to watch, don't poke through the back and into your hand, is make little incisions and you have slices. So with those slices, you can then take a spoon, go around the edges, and scoop it right out. Just follow along the edge and follow underneath, scoop it right out, and you'll have slices right there. But I actually want to dice this one, so I'm going to make more incisions vertically now. So I have, a little, you can see it, as it separates, little cross sections. They're already diced. Take your spoon, insert it around the edges where it's nice and soft, loosen up the sides, get it all the way underneath, scoop it out, and you have very easy, very simply diced avocado. Take your shell, toss it, you're done. It's pretty easy. Just an extra little tip there for you. We eat a lot of avocados in my house. Don't be afraid of them. They are good for you. Maybe one day we'll do a show about that. So that's what I have for you today. And speaking of shows, we're going to meet right down here again next week we're going to be here. We're going to talk about how to prepare for a 5K. So I'm going to show you some exercises to keep your shins and your calves and everything healthy, as well as some stretches while you're preparing for a 5K. So we'll talk a little bit about what you need to do to get from that couch to the 5K. So until next time, I hope you find your momentum. Thanks for watching.